It's Friday, May 6th, and this is now on HNN.
And that's it.
New video just into our newsroom. Lieutenant Governor Josh Green files paperwork to run for governor.
I can tell people that I will continuously work for them, whatever it takes to get us through our challenges.
We have developing news, a powerful, deadly explosion at a five-star hotel in the heart of Cuba's capital.
I think those decisions should be made by the elected representatives of the people back in the various states.
The Senate is gearing up for a vote on abortion rights. I'm Natalie Brandt. A look at how the leaked Supreme Court draft opinion on Roe v. Wade is spurring action on Capitol Hill and in state legislatures.
I'm pro-life because I'm a human being.
I get to be the first to see it in a long time.
Plus, the tapes we found that connect a controversial piece of Hawaii's past to a political dynasty's present. That's coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for having lunch with us on this Aloha Friday. You know, Lieutenant Governor Josh Green is making headlines today.
That's right. He was at the Office of Elections this morning, filing paperwork to be on the ballot in the race for governor.
The largest difference probably between me and the other candidates, and they're good people, is that I've been working tirelessly day and night for the last 2 years on Hawaii's greatest challenge, its greatest crisis, which was a pandemic that threatened the lives of all of our citizens. And I'm the only one in this race that had to make that commitment, and I was honored to make that commitment with our healthcare heroes in the state. But dealing with the crisis has prepared me to become governor in the future, and frankly, it's just been an honor to serve.
Now, you want to keep this in mind, even before this week's announcement that former Honolulu Mayor Kurt Caldwell was dropping out of the race for governor. He was well behind Lieutenant Governor Josh Green in the all-important race for money. In the last campaign spending report that came out in February, Green had $1.1 million in his political war chest, compared to Caldwell's $717,000. First-time candidate and businesswoman Vicky Cayetano could gain from Caldwell's withdrawal. Here's what she had to say about that earlier this week.
But I just think that, again, for me, I want to focus on my message and to provide the sense of urgency and the leadership that I think has been lacking in our state from government. And that's really what I want to just keep moving forward on.
Now, things could get even more interesting in this race if Representative Kai Kahele runs for governor. Stay with Hawaii News Now for all your campaign 2022 updates. We already have some posted to your HNN digital platforms.
The State Board of Education's public meeting turned heated yesterday over masking in schools. Among the masking opponents, another gubernatorial candidate and former UFC fighter BJ Penn. He called out school leaders, including Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi.
Hello. Where's Hayashi?
Right behind you. This guy.
Thank you.
You gone, brother, when I get in. You're not doing nothing for the kids. All you guys gone.
Good job.
Now, please.
Agenda item 6A. You know who I am. You gone, brother.
Sir, please
you
proceed.
care about our kids.
Penn was one of about 50 people who testified against masking yesterday. Interim Superintendent Hayashi has already announced that indoor masking for students and teachers will remain for the rest of the school year, which ends on May 27th. Officials have not said if the requirement will remain during the summer programs or the next school year. Outdoor masking has been optional since March. The CDC still recommends universal indoor masking in schools, and right now most children can get vaccinated except for kids under 5. Their vaccines could be approved by June.
Also new today, the CDC is reducing its threshold for what it considers, quote, highly vaccinated cruise ships. Before, 95% of eligible passengers had to be vaccinated to reach this status. Now it's only 90%. The percentage of crew members that must be vaccinated for ships to qualify as highly vaccinated remains 95%. The cruise lines that opted into the program must share their vaccination statuses of of each ship with the CDC, which posts the information online. The CDC also made an update to its isolation cabin requirements, with negative air pressure no longer required. The U.S. Army has announced an update on the COVID-19 vaccination status for its personnel. As of May 5th, there have been just over 500 active duty U.S. Army soldiers who refused to get a COVID-19 vaccine. According to a release, the U.S. Army has relieved those soldiers of duty. In addition, the release said nearly 3,400 soldiers have been written up for refusing to get vaccinated.
New details on the scope of the health impacts from the Red Hill water contamination crisis. A new survey found that about 2,000 people were sickened by the fuel in the water. 75% of them reported being sick for a month or more, and Honolulu Civil Beat also reports that 78% of kids missed school because of the situation. This is some of the first data to be released on the health effects. 93,000 Navy water customers were exposed to contaminated water after leaks at the Red Hill fuel storage facility. Protests continue nationwide over a leaked Supreme Court draft opinion on abortion rights. This has also spurred legislators in both our nation's capital and state capitals to step up work on abortion-related bills. Natalie Brand has more.
Anti-abortion rights advocates rallied in Atlanta Friday afternoon.
I'm pro-life because I'm a human being.
Demonstrations on both sides of the issue are taking place in cities nationwide as senators head home for the weekend to hear from constituents ahead of a planned vote next week to make abortion rights legal nationwide.
In a pregnancy, I don't believe that it is the state that should intervene with its heavy hand and make the decision.
If Roe versus Wade is struck down by the Supreme Court, abortion rights will be decided by individual states.
I think those decisions should be made by the elected representatives of the people back in the various states. I think that's the correct answer.
Republicans remain opposed to the Democratic bill, and that includes moderate Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who says she'll vote against it.
Senator Collins and Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski have proposed a more narrow bill to codify Roe, but keep protections for health providers who oppose abortion on religious grounds.
We are not looking to compromise something as vital as this.
States and legal experts are already anticipating what could be the next wave of legal battles.
I think it brings up a lot of new questions. For instance, there are states that are trying to say, not only can we ban abortions within our state, but we're going to try to ban our residents from traveling into another state.
Citing Supreme Court Justice Alito's draft opinion on Roe versus Wade, Republican state lawmakers in Louisiana advanced a bill through a House committee to criminalize abortion, classifying it as a homicide. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Developing right now, a powerful explosion apparently caused by a gas leak has blown away much of the outer walls from a five-star hotel in the heart of Cuba's capital, and officials report at least 8 people have passed away. But we've learned no tourists were lodged in the 96-room Hotel Saratoga because it was undergoing renovations. Officials say that there are people missing at this time, and they are hunting for anyone who may be trapped. Now, Hawaii News Now is working on a special new digital documentary that explores a political dynasty with Hawaii ties that is looking to return to power in the Philippines. Here's Sammy Salina with more on that.
The story starts right here, where all of our archive footage is stored after decades of news gathering at KChannel, KGMB, and K5. And with this box of tapes, simply marked Marcos.
But there's just one problem. We didn't even have a tape machine in our building anymore that played many of these old tapes.
I get to be the first to see it in a long time.
That's where Walt from 808 Burners comes in. His company in IAEA specializes in converting old tapes to digital, usually family videos and home movies.
Often we get their videotapes in boxes and they don't know if it's an old football game or the family's Easter.
But these tapes are different.
She's just stonewalling everything. She can't answer, and I don't think she's answered any questions up to this point.
It reminds him of his own family's connection to the treasure trove of video history that's been hiding from them.
He's he's Ilocano, and I guess he's one of us.
More than 30 years ago, Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos were ousted from power in the Philippines and landed in exile in Hawaii.
I am praying to God that somehow the situation will develop where I and my family and all my friends can return peacefully to the Philippines.
Their exile in the islands became a years-long global spectacle.
Marcos was suffering serious medical problems. He would be in and out of the hospital suffering from kidney and other ailments.
And it divided the community as the Marcos family brought their lavish and loud lifestyle to Oahu.
He's the crook, but he's our crook.
Now the Marcos family is back in the headlines. Ferdinand and Imelda's son, Bongbong, is running for president of the Philippines. And many pro-Marcos Filipinos in Hawaii are still loyal.
When Marcos was the president, he never sell Philippines. He never go to other countries to sell Philippines. But this passed and he never steal, which is, we believe in that.
But there is strong opposition on the islands and support for Bongbong's competitor, current Vice President Leni Robredo.
We do like an honest government to come back, and Leni Robredo represents an honest government.
Now that HNN has access to hours of recovered footage, we decided to make a special new digital documentary. In it, we'll explore how one of the largest political scandals in modern history landed in the Aloha State, and why, decades later, the controversy surrounding the Marcos family is far from resolved. The Imelda tapes will be available for streaming on all HNN digital platforms starting Monday at 7 p.m. Sammy Solina, Hawaii News Now.
Yep, Sammy and I have been working on that for a couple weeks now, and I've been researching it for years. Monday at 7 p.m. is when it drops. The election is the 9th, which is Sunday here, Monday in the Philippines. So keep watching your weekend editions of H&N's for updates on what happens there.
I got chicken skin, John.
Yeah, it's really fascinating
Yeah.
what you'll learn from this, and the clips we found are so interesting and compelling. And again, it looks like from the poll numbers that Bongbong Marcos is the front runner, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Can't wait.
All right, guys, let's take you live outside, and ooh, looking a little windy and a little gray. What will your Mother's Day look like? Here's Guy Hoggy.
Now, we've got trade winds, and those trade winds are running brisk and breezy already, and they're not going to back down anytime soon. Of course, there's one outlier, right? The Kona side of the Big Island, they won't get the trade winds. But for everybody else, we'll have trade winds running firm all the way through Wednesday before they start backing down. So here's your 7-day forecast, and it's looking good. A little cloudy today, we'll give it that. There's not going to be a whole lot of rain, aside from a few minor splashes for windward neighborhoods. Drier and sunnier by tomorrow, and then that means for Mother's Day, things are looking really good. So take her outside and spoil her, because she's been spoiling you your entire life. And those breezy winds, well, they'll continue into the latter part of next week. That's a nice long run of beautiful.
The UH men's volleyball team is advancing to the championship round of the NCAA tournament. Here's Kyle Chinin with more on that from LA.
Aloha from the world-famous Santa Monica Pier, where folks from around the world come for fun and thrills. But that's not the only place you can find that this weekend, as on Saturday, the Rainbow Warriors volleyball team defends their national title against arch rival Long Beach State. The Bows made it back into the finale after starting off on fire. High-flying kills, Hawaii was operating against the Cardinals, but Ball State would not go down easily, clawing their way back to take the score to deuce. But Hawaii takes set 1, 28-26. From there, UH cooled off, allowing BSU to get going, absolutely dominating the Bows, keeping them out of system and out of sorts. Cardinals take set 2. Hawaii would not find much success in the third either, to go down 2-1 going into the fourth set.
Really putting some pressure on us, and that I, more than most, respect that and appreciate that, because it's something that we pride ourselves on, and they were really playing at a high level and serving the ball tough.
In that set, Hawaii, who was not ready to head back to Honolulu just yet, take the fourth set to force a fifth and deciding set. In the fifth, Hawaii found something inside of them, and the absolutely rowdy crowd of UH fans in the Poly Pavilion might have had something to do with it. Hawaii takes set 5. The Bows are back in the championship.
Yeah, I've been a part of this program for only 2 years. That's my second year. But I feel like there's been great work. There's been great work over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and I think that shows. The results are great. We've been to back-to-back national championship games, and we're here for another one. We'll do our best to bring another one back to Hawaii.
And it's a finale fit for Hollywood as the Bows are set to face off with arch nemesis Long Beach State. That's right, one game away from defending the title. First serve on Saturday is set for 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 5 p.m. local. The game will be televised on ESPN2. Reporting from Santa Monica, I'm Kyle Chinen for This Is Now.
Kyle, thanks so much. Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
there,
I'm glad
for
they're
sure.
putting it on TV because watching it streamed on the website yesterday,
It's
a little rough, yeah.
Also glad to see Kyle wearing some short sleeves.
Mhm.
Yesterday he was all bundled up. All right, let's see what else the internet is talking about today. Video game classic Miss Pac-Man has gobbled up the competition. The iconic successor of Pac-Man, which launched in 1981, has been chosen for the World Video Game Hall of Fame. About time, I would say. As it is the first widely recognized female video game character, Miss Pac-Man would pave the way for other characters like Zelda. In fact, listen to this, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is also part of this year's class in the Hall of Fame, setting the standard for 3D games. Another selection is Dance Dance Revolution, and which paved the way for things like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. The fourth selection of this year's class is Sid Meier's Civilization, when I don't know what that one is, with more than 50 million units sold there. Miss Pac-Man, though, a classic. I love the tabletop version where you can just set your glass down and just play away at your local pub. It's also one I can understand, and it's not too complicated, so that's my type of video game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Sheryl Crow is sharing her story in a new documentary called Sheryl.
All of the things that I talked about, which many of them are things I've never spoken about in this documentary, were kind of liberating, but they were not without revisiting pain and emotions.
Now, Crow digs deep in the doc, reflecting on family, sexism in the music industry, and dealing with breast cancer, as well as her career.
Yeah, Sheryl Crow, a fascinating celebrity. I had a chance to interview her once. Very sweet. She is from Southeast Missouri. I was talking to her when she got her honorary degree from Southeast Missouri University.
Very
SEMO.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And speaking of musical artist, Taylor Swift, she dropped her latest remake at midnight. So the Grammy-winning singer debuted This Love, Taylor's version. It's from Swift's hit album 1989. So This Love is featured in the trailer for the Amazon Prime series, The Summer I Turned Pretty. And the new track has fans speculating about whether 1989 would be the next album that Swift re-records. Now, if you remember, she has been re-recording her first 5 albums after producer Scooter Braun bought and sold her master albums, leaving her not in control of her own catalog. So Swift has previously unveiled Red, Taylor's version, and Fearless, Taylor's version.
All right, I have to listen to that this weekend. All right, guys, a pretty cool competition going on the North Shore. It is the Fire Knife competition. We got Casey Lund standing by at the PCC with an update.
Aloha from Laie at the Polynesian Cultural Center, and I want to get right to David Naleai with us this morning. David, tell us what's happening this weekend and this week, the Fire Knife competitions. This is a big deal for you guys.
It is. It's a big deal. It's exciting. If you're out there, come on down. What we're going to have is a senior competition coming up, which is coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be electric, so you better come out to the World Fire Knife Championships here at the Polynesian Cultural Center.
And we already had the junior competitions, and I want to give a shout out to the gentlemen here that are putting on a show for us today.
Yes. Shout out to our 3 finalists over here at the Junior World Fire Knife Championship. I'm going to go down and let me tell you who they are. Right here in the brown pale is his headband. This is KJ Volovola.
And then in the red?
And in the red is Nasa Tuliloa. And then on the right is Elway Tora.
And he's the champ, yeah?
Yes, he is the champ.
How big of a deal is it for you guys to continue to pass down this art form through the generations?
Well, it's a big deal for us because this art has been coming down from all our warriors back in the days. And for us to have it passed down from family to family, my father, the father, it's awesome to see that our culture will always be alive, be strong.
I love that, David. And not just the fire knife, but we've got a whole cultural experience happening starting tomorrow on Saturday.
Yes, we have the Samoa Festival. It's going to be happening again. We got high schools coming from all over the state to perform, so I'm really excited for that. And if you're excited and you want something exciting to do, come on down, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. They're going to have games and performances.
I really appreciate it. David Nalai, thank you so much for your time today. We want to remind you that you can buy tickets online. There's still plenty at HawaiiNewsNow.com. A lot of fun happening here at the Polynesian Cultural Center. For now, we'll send things back to you.
Cool. Looks fun, Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thought he was going to try it.
Oh, they won't allow that. That would never be
Safety
allowed.
hazard?
Yeah.
Probably. So what were the most popular baby names of 2021? Well, if they sound familiar, that's because Olivia was #1 for girls for the 3rd year in a row, according to the Social Security Administration. Liam topped the list for boys for the 5th year in a row.
I don't know many Liams. Do you?
No, I don't, actually. Yeah. So filling in the top 5 for boys, #2, Noah, 3, Oliver, 4, Elijah, 5, James. On the girls' side, #2, Emma, 3, Charlotte, 4, Amelia, 5, Ava. Now, out of both top 10 lists combined, only one name changed. Can you guess which one, John?
Charlotte?
The top 10 aren't on there, so never mind.
Okay.
It's not on there. Anyway, Theodore replaced Alexander.
Oh, that's a classic name, too.
Yeah.
Replacing a classic name. Yeah.
So
It's
that was
funny
a change.
because, I think I have a completely 80s name.
Same.
It's Jonathan and Ashley. Yeah. And John and Jonathan had to be up there for decades. It's really interesting to see the evolution of these names as they change over time. You don't see, our grandparents' name. Like, my grandma is named Doris. I love her. Happy Mother's Day. But you don't see too many Dorises out there anymore.
When in my class, we had 5 Ashleys.
Yeah.
Everyone was named
And
Ashley.
Stephanie Lum. Yeah. Well, just aged ourselves.
So check this out, you guys. A young girl's first communion is supposed to be a memorable occasion, but a South Dakota 7-year-old's first sacrament became so memorable it went viral on TikTok. Here's Jeannie Moose with the story.
It was her first communion, and when the priest gave 7-year-old Brinley Heidebrink a wafer, she nibbled it daintily. But when Father Andrew Young handed Brinley the chalice, she tipped it back and chugged, and chugged, and chugged, guzzling the wine till even Father Andy couldn't hide his astonishment. She then folded her hands and exited gracefully. The angelic walkaway left me dead, posted one fan. Did she actually empty the chalice?
Yeah, I think so.
Her mom says Brinley was a bit nervous about the wine beforehand, asking,
"How much am I supposed to drink again?" And I literally told her, just tip it back, let it touch your lips. You don't even have to swallow.
She didn't just swallow, she wallowed in it.
I'm like, "Why did you drink so much? Do you remember?" "I don't know."
The Brandon, South Dakota girl told Mom she didn't even like the taste. After the wine went down the hatch, they sat down for spaghetti dinner.
She was a little talkative, and her cheeks were just flushed the entire night.
This is a kid whose favorite drink is usually
Sprite.
It was as if her first communion coincided with happy hour. Jeannie Moose, CNN.
My
New
kind of
York.
girl.
That is impressive. All right, guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there.
Yes.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.